Hello. Welcome to class. Yes, let's go right into it. Now, these are the tools you need. You may need more, you may need less, and this is your fabric measurement. Please take note of it. You can adjust it to fit your specification, but this is what I used in the tutorial. Now, in order for us to do this quickly, I've done some part of the materials you need. I've prepared some, but I'm still going to show you the step here. But instead of doing it in 6, I'm going to do it just one of the stripe. Now I'm going to fill in my fabric with fiber. Fiber is a white woolish kind of fabric. No, pardon me, it's woolish kind of material. They put it inside pillow. It's called fiber. So before I put in the fiber into my fabric, I need to sew my fabric by quarter inch. Quarter inch is just a little stitch. So I've folded my 4 inches fabric into 2. Okay, and I'm going to run a straight stitch. A straight stitch is just to seal or join the fabric together. So I'm running a quarter inch stitch on this fabric. The fabric is 4 inches by 22. This is for the headband. So after joining the fabric, I need to turn it to the right side. So you actually sew on the wrong side of the fabric, then you turn it to the right side. When you want to do your turning, you may actually use a scissors to pick part of the fabric and do your turning. This comes with practice, but the more you do it, the easier it becomes for you. Remember, your first step is to cut out your fabric into 3 pieces. That is 4 inches by 22 in 3 places, or 35 inches by 4 inches in 3 places, depending on the style you're doing. So after you have folded your fabric and you have turned it to the wrong side, then you need to fill it in with the fiber. I said the fiber is woolish. It's a woolish kind of I don't know what the composition that makes up a fiber, but it is called fiber. It is used for pillows, and this is what we are going to be using in this tutorial. There are other ways of achieving this, and I'm going to share that in another video. But for this to have this bulk feeling, and this is different from what is common in the market. This is more classy. So it takes some time for you to fill in the fiber. Reason I pre-filled the other fabrics before recording the video. Please take note of that. So I'm just doing one. You just have to keep putting it small, bit by bit. Please also, it's important to take note that you don't need your fabric to be very thick. You know, when you buy a pillow, there are some pillows that are soft, there are some pillows that are hard. You need to fill in your fiber in such a way that you have a soft pillow feel. It must be soft. If it's too hard, you will not enjoy the weaving process. If it's too rigid, it will not fold easily. So fill in your fiber, but make sure it's not so hard. You just have to keep filling. And the Alice band, it's not necessary you have it this big. Okay, it's not necessary you have it big. There are some that are thin, there are some that are big. If you're doing for a child, okay, you just have to reduce your fabric length, and it also depends on the size of the Alice band. The Alice band is this black folded ready-made band that you just put on your head. So I'm just going to continue filling in the fiber, and I'm going to leave about 1 inch space. That means I will not fill in the 1 inch to the edge of the fabric on 2 sides. Let me say that again. After filling in the fiber, I'm going to leave a space of 1 inch on both sides that do not have fiber in them, so that it will be easy to finish my edges. The filling process may take so much time. May take so much time. Just be patient. Just keep pushing it in. You can use a broomstick to push it in. If you have the old knitting tool, you can use it to push it in until you've achieved the softness that you need. And remember not to throw away your scrap fabric. And remember, it's not compulsory to use African print or Ankara. You can always use any fabric of your choice. You can use plain color, you can use satin, you can use crepe, you can use any kind of fabric. Now, what I'm doing here is to show you that after I have filled in the fiber, the three fabrics that have been filled with fiber, I need to join them together. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be doing now. Remember, I told you to leave 1 inch to the edge of the fabric empty without the fiber. This is to allow you finish well. Okay, so I only put all those 3 edges together, one on top of each other. So I sewed the 3 together so that it could give me an easy weave, so that I'm able to control the direction of the weaving. When I use the word weaving, I mean when I'm doing the braids. So after this step, the next thing is to braid. That is why you need braid. Remember, this is a 4 inches wideness. You can reduce it to 3 inches if you want. If you don't want your headband to be bulky. But I love the bulky one because it looks more classy. Now, after I have joined the 3 edges together, it is time for me to weave. Okay, get someone to hold it for you. Though you can weave without someone holding, but if you don't know how to braid, okay, just follow. You may have to pause and watch this slowly. You're just putting it one in and turning another one out. Now the tricky part is you have to use hand needle to finish the other edge, because by the time you carry, except you use your hand needle to hold it together, then you now run a straight stitch on your machine. But for me, I find it easier to use hand needle to tack the other edge. So once that one is tacked and is secured, I'm just securing the edge. I don't want it to lose. I don't want to lose the braids, so I'm going to secure it by hand stitching. Maybe make about 6 stitches and I'm fine. You can see what it looks like. It's almost like what you have in your picture. The braid is almost ready. Now this is the long one that does not require any Alice band or headband to hold it together. You can wear this as it is. That is the 35 inches by 4 inches. Now if you don't want it to be too thick, you can reduce your measurements. Now if you observe, I'm trying to check my my stitch side. I don't want it to show on the outer part, so you may have to watch out for that. It's not as if it will be so obvious if it shows, but you know, being a professional, you just want your customers to wonder, how is this thing made, how did they make it? So as much as possible, hide your seam as much as you can. Please hide your seam. Now I'm doing the next thing again by using hand needle to secure the other edge. Always tack your needle, the end of your needle, before you start stitching. I'm able to walk around it because I use needle and thread a lot, and I can sew. I've been sewing for a long time. So but if you are just starting out, before you start using your hand needle, make sure you tie a knot at the end of the needle. So your glue gun, it comes in sizes. There is a small one, there is a big one. I work with the regular size, which is the big one. So I just plug this in. Okay, I'm just trying this on my head to see if it's firm enough. And please, when you're doing this, remember that the mannequin head is a little smaller than a regular, it's a little smaller than an adult head. So you may not use that as your guide, but not too big. It's size of 22 inches or 21 inches. Between 20 and 22 inches should be your biggest headband. 20 to 22 inches. When I say 20 to 22 inches, it means after braiding you must have 20 to 22 inches. While I'm waiting for my glue gun to be ready, it's also important to note that you can use UHU glue or B6000 glue if you don't have UHU, if you don't have the glue gun. But for me, I prefer to use the glue gun for this because glue gun is washable and it won't give way when you wash it over and over. So before I use the glue gun to secure that edge, I'm going to use my needle and thread to join that back together. At this stage, you may not be able to take it to the sewing machine because it's thick, one, and two, the folding, you may not be able to place this properly on the sewing machine. This is the easiest part. This one is very easy to make as compared to the one that you put on your Alice band. So what I'm doing here is just to place the two edges on top of each other. Okay, you have two edges, one that you sewed before you started doing your braid and the one you use your hand needle to secure. Now you're putting those two edges on top of each other and you're securing them. Now it may be tricky, you may have to apply more pressure to push in the needle because you'll be working with some bulk of with some layers of fabric that may be bulky. You can see what I'm doing now. I'm just using needle and thread to secure it. It's important you do that. Glue gun or any type of glue you're using will not secure it as much as using needle and thread. Okay, so you'll be wondering, is this how we are going to leave it? No. After using this needle and thread, I'm still going to cut from this scrap of fabric that's remaining to seal off. Now for this part you need to there's no exact measurement, you need to be flexible with it. Reason being that you have to just roll your fabric around that place that you use your hand needle so you can cover up what you have done. It's important you cover it up so that your customer don't say that this is not well made. By the time you even cover it up, it's difficult for people to know how you finished it. So you just have to wrap your fabric around it and see if it will cover it properly. Now you need to fold in your edges. You need to fold in the edges, check for your wrong side, then you fold in the edges on the wrong side. I'm using UHU glue for this part. If I use glue gun, that edges will be too thick. Glue gun doesn't how do I say, it leaves a wax kind of feeling like a candle. So I need something that is flat. So UHU will glue my fabric in a very nice and neat way without it being bulky. So after folding in the long side, then you fold in one side too of the small edge. can see I tried it to find out if it's fine, and it looks perfect. So this is when my glue gun comes in. Okay, if you don't want to use glue gun is the best to finish that aspect. But if you don't want to use a glue gun, you can use your UHU or A6000. Now we are done with that. So I'm still going to show you how I glued it, but we've come to the more tricky part of it, attaching your braided headband to Alice band, so that you have another kind of design for someone that just wants to wear headband without necessarily having it all round the head. So my glue gun is ready, and I'm going to apply the glue. Okay, it's hot. This thing can be very painful, so please watch out so that it doesn't burn your hand. Okay, and as you're doing it, you have some candle wax that are flying around. Don't bother, you can always remove all of that when you're done, but please avoid staining your work. Avoid staining your work. I'm checking it on the size of the mannequin to see if it's fine, and it looks great to me. Now if you want to do this in bulk, this is what I recommend. Okay, choose a day to fill in to turn your fabric to wrong side after joining the straight stitch, and then use one day to fill in the fiber. You can use another day to do your weaving, so that you don't get overwhelmed, or you don't if you are overwhelmed, your work won't be neat. So you have to plan well. Now to attach this, you have to find the center of your braided headband and find the center of your Alice band. That's the popular name, we call it Alice band, the black band I'm holding. You need to look for the center. Now you see the way I'm placing it, and you have to be careful with your weaving. My weaving here could be better. If it's firm, okay, it won't get to the edge of the Alice band, which is the ideal thing. But most importantly, please glue in this manner. Don't assume that it is too short or it's too big. You have to follow this process when you are doing your gluing. This is the process that works better anyway. But you can always experiment to see what works for you. But it's advisable you start from the middle and you glue to one end. Try and secure it. Okay? Then you glue from the other middle to the end. So I'm using rubber band to hold it together here, so that it doesn't, the pressure that's needed to keep it firm and secure is still there. Now I'm going to the other half of the band, and I'm going to attach same. Okay, you can see all those white wax. As you are using the wax, you always have fear of them flying around. Just keep removing them. When you're done with your job, remove everything that looks like this whitish wax. Now finishing this is also easy, but it can be tricky. Now because it's a braided band, you don't want the edge of that Alice band to be bulky. Your customer won't love it. Most times when you wear your Alice band, it stays behind your hair. So you don't want it to be so bulky and be uncomfortable for your clients. So in this instance, if you have it so close to the edge like this, it's advisable you remove some fiber so that you can have a flat fabric. And we're going to close the edge with strip of our fabric. You just have to cover the edge with it and cover also the edge of the braided band. Okay, now knowing that it's bulky, I'm just going to take out some fiber if I'm unable to secure it. One side is actually fine, the other side needs some help. Please, if you don't have someone to hold this for you, kindly use a rubber band, or you wait for the wax to be cold, when it is hot, that is when it secures. When it is cold, it's not securing. So it's either you hold on to the part until it is cold before you move to another side. But if you want to be fast with your job, you may always need the rubber band, okay, to secure that end for you. And you can improvise also and do something that may work for you. You see, I'm just folding the strip of fabric, okay, to cover the raw edges of the braided band and also the edge of the Alice band, so that I can have a flat end. So that part is bulky. I'm doing some trimming off so that I can have a flat edge. So it's easy to make. You can make adjustments, you can make corrections. Measurement for this is not also fixed. You just have to use your discretion. I'm using the remaining of the 4 inches fabric that I already have. I have remaining from the bulk of the fabric. So you see, I folded it in. Then I'm going to use my glue gun to secure it. You will agree with me that the first version is easier to make than the second version, and the first version will be cheaper to sell than the second design, because that one does not require an additional item, which is the Alice band. So it depends on you. You can give the two a try, and please share your pictures with me. I'd like to see the beautiful things you've created. Thank you.